Hey, what's going on, guys? Chad here with Greenlight Shooting, and welcome to this new video. Today, we're talking about this little guy right here. This is made by Simtech, and it's called their wireless security sensor. So it's a pretty cool little gadget. The idea behind it is it's a light and motion-based sensor that will send an alert to your cell phone whenever it detects light or motion. So for instance, you can throw this in your gun safe, you can throw this in your luggage, in like maybe a liquor cabinet or something if you're a parent. And anytime it detects light, like you open the cupboard or something like that, or someone's hand reaches into it, it's gonna send you that alert on your phone. And you'll know within like 10 to 20 seconds as soon as someone is entering. So I'm excited to talk more about it. Let's dive into kind of the tech specs, the features and things like that, and then we'll go into pros and cons and a little bit more of my subjective view on the thing. But I want you to know how it works. So here are a couple features about this. Number one is it's all self-contained. That's really, really cool. Inside, it's actually got a battery on the back right here. It's got a SIM card inside. So as soon as you insert this battery, you can hook it up to an app on your phone if you want, and then it's good to go. You place it where you want. There's no on button. There's no really thinking about it. You set it up, you set it somewhere, and then you forget about it, honestly. It's really cool that it hooks up via like a cellular signal and not via Wi-Fi. With Wi-Fi, there's ways around it. You can unplug a router, you can cut power to your router, whatever. And if this depends on it, then there's no way for it to communicate. But since it's all self-contained, it's got a SIM card in it, there's really no way to cut power other than removing the battery. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But essentially, it's set it and forget it. In terms of setup time, it takes about 60 seconds. Like I said, you put the battery in. If you got a smartphone or whatever, download the app. There's a QR code on the back of this thing. You scan that, it walks you through a simple setup phase. Put it where you want and you're done. In terms of battery, you're looking at about a year of battery life, which is huge. It says, in a typical use, so about 10 alerts per month, you can expect the battery to last for up to 1 year before having to charge it. So that's definitely a nice peace of mind. As I mentioned, there is a SIM card in here, and it's a global SIM card, so it kind of just swaps between whatever's giving it the best signal. The downside is there is a monthly fee like with your phone. The upside is it's only $4 a month. And on the front here, you can see that sensor. So that's the thing that's picking up light, picking up motion, things like that. So if a hand reaches into your safe or whatever, or even if it's a closed safe and it opens, it notices light, then it's going to shoot you that text right away. Additionally, this thing does come with an external antenna to give you an extra cell boost. So, maybe you've got a big gun safe down in your basement or something like that. If you throw this in there with the antenna attached, they're saying you should still have plenty of cell signal to get that text. And then in order to recharge it, it's just a mini USB right there on the side. The thing weighs about 3.5 ounces and is about 3 inches by 3 inches on all these sides, and then about 2 inches tall. Now, in terms of uses for this thing, first thing that comes to my head, this is a firearms channel, so I think about putting this thing in a safe right away. And maybe you don't have a safe, maybe you just have your gun in your nightstand next to you or something like that. Maybe if you got kids or something like that, I think this would come in tons of handy. Like I mentioned, a liquor cabinet or something if you're a parent, luggage if you're traveling a bunch. For me, I do a lot of film and photos and stuff, so I always have like a Pelican case full of cameras and stuff. So, that'd be really nice to have this in there. So yeah, I do think there are some very valid uses for this thing, even aside from firearms and stuff like that. Maybe you have a roommate that you just don't know or something, or maybe you're moving somewhere and living with people that you don't know. It's nice to have this to just kind of give you an extra layer of security with your stuff. Same thing with like a safe in the firearms or something like that. If you've got kids or something like that, and maybe they know the lock to your safe, but they know not to get in them while you're at work or something. You can know if they're trying to access your safe, or they're accessing things they shouldn't be getting into. It's really a pretty straightforward sensor. There's no reason to overcomplicate it. So let's dive into kind of the pros and cons that I see and kind of my subjective take on this thing. So pros on this thing, first up is the battery life and just the whole idea of being able to set it and forget it. I really do like turning this thing on. You don't have to worry about having an on switch and off switch. Just set this where you want. It's set up. The battery life, as I mentioned, lasts up to a year. So I think it's a really cool peace of mind without honestly having to think about it. Another really nice pro is how it's based on cellular signals instead of Wi-Fi. That's pretty cool, but the fact that it also will be able to work inside something like a safe in the basement, I think that those are all things that are really important to think about in the firearms industry, and I'm glad they implemented that in. And the fact that it's $4 a month is just the cherry on top. I think that's worth it for this kind of a peace of mind, in my opinion. The last pro is just really that it does what it's supposed to do. Like I said, I don't want to overcomplicate it. When it sees light, when it sees motion, it tells you. So it works. Now let's talk about some of the cons that I found with this thing. Number one is how big it is. Like, it is pretty intrusive being this big. I guess it depends on where you're putting it, but it's certainly noticeable. If this was a sensor that was maybe the size of that white ball or something that you could put somewhere just completely, where people wouldn't even see it or even know to look for it, I think that would be a big improvement. It's not bad as is, but especially when you throw the antenna on this thing, it becomes very, very conspicuous. The next con I noticed is just that it's not really a con, but you just need to be aware of where you're placing this thing. So, I had a big rifle safe. I had this pushed in the very back corner up against the wall. So if it doesn't see the light, it doesn't go off. And if my hand isn't reaching into the section where it's at, if I'm reaching down low, or maybe I'm a kid or something and this is up high, and it doesn't see that, it doesn't see the light, or it doesn't see that person's hands, it's not going to go off. So you just have to be conscious that where you place this thing is going to be seen by light anytime that door or drawer or anything is opened. The other con, and again, it's not so much a con as just something to be conscious of, is the fact that there is a battery on this thing. There's a battery compartment. So obviously, you have to know this device extremely well. You have to be familiar with it. You have to have quick access to it. But if you do, you can disable it very quickly. So I did this little test right here. I just threw open a box, grabbed it really quick, flipped it over, took the battery out before it could send a message to my phone, and I was able to disable it before it could send that message out. And again, it's somewhere that I can access easily. It's obviously a device that I know extremely well, having used it for this video. But maybe if it's your kid or something like that who pays attention, could be able to do it. So I think the way around that, the way to beat that, is it comes with some adhesive. I'd put some adhesive right here. I'd mount this somewhere, and if you mount this up against the inside of the safe or somewhere in the back of the liquor cabinet or something like that, where it's going to take even 10 seconds to get this thing, and then they have to break it off the wall or whatever to get to that battery compartment, by that time that message has already sent out. And I do want to mention, by the way, the SIM card, it looks accessible, but it's not. Me and my buddy both tried for a good couple minutes each, and we could not get that SIM card out. You can't reach it with the fingernail, so we grabbed a pocket knife, threw it in there, and still you can get it to kind of eject out of there, but you can't get the card to remove from the device. So I think that's super smart how they've got that built in there. Aside from those two things, I don't know that there's a way to really counter this other than just destroying it. And in order to destroy it, you'd have to know exactly where it was. You'd have to be ready with a hammer or something in your hand. So, in a thief situation or something where they're just trying to get into your stuff, they're not necessarily looking for this. I don't think that's something that you have to worry about. And the last con is, and again, I'm not really sure that this is a con because I don't know that I can explain why it's a con, but I was under the assumption that it would be faster to get a text. I was under the assumption that the second light hit it, it was going to send a text to my phone and I was going to see it pretty much that instant. That's not the case. I noticed that on average, it took about 20 seconds from the time that the light saw the sensor to get a text. 20 seconds is it's super quick, right? But I don't know, a lot can happen in 20 seconds. Let's just say that. But I think for the most part, if you're at work or something and your kid's getting into your liquor cabinet, that kind of thing, 20 seconds, whatever. But when we're dealing with firearms and stuff like that, my mind just goes there. So yeah, in conclusion, man, I think this is a pretty dope little gadget. I think it certainly has a place. It's something that I think I will find myself using. It's something I could see myself using certainly in the future as a parent, as a responsible gun owner. I think it definitely has its place. I still wish it was smaller than this. That's my real only big complaint about it. I think hopefully they make some more revisions down the road where, it's just smaller and smaller and it's just more inconspicuous, right? But for now, I think it absolutely does the job. So this is the Simtech wireless security sensor, and they're running this thing for $150 on their website. The link is down in the video description below. Check it out if it's something that interests you, and let me know what other kinds of things you guys want to see on the channel, man. It's kind of fun to experiment in different realms than just purely firearms and holsters and things. So let me know what else you guys want to see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please hit that thumbs up button. We got a lot more good stuff coming. Subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see you next time on Greenlight Shooting.